If there's one fruit that's had a long history in Britain, it's the apple. It's easy to forget now, when we can grab a plastic bag of them from the supermarket, that the apple was once steeped in folklore, ritual, and a fair bit of superstition. But for centuries, the apple was much more than an everyday snack. It carried meanings, rituals, and even a touch of magic. Let's begin with a simple breakfast of baked apples. The wild crab apple was the only native kind, and while it still grows in hedgerows, it's far too sour to eat raw. The sweeter apples we know now came later. The Romans are credited with bringing cultivated varieties when they settled here, along with their orchard-keeping skills. Those orchards became prized possessions, and by the medieval period, monasteries were especially important in keeping apple growing alive. Monks tended orchards behind their walls, experimenting with grafting and varieties. Over the centuries, orchards spread across the countryside, and apples became one of the staples of English farming life. From this medieval world comes a dish called appulmoys, or apple pottage. To make it, peel and stew apples until soft. Take off the heat and then stir in an egg yolk. Put it back on the stove and add a knob of butter and some sugar. Plate it and sprinkle on some cinnamon and ginger. Sometimes saffron was added for colour. The result is a sweet pudding that can be eaten for dessert or served alongside meat. It's one of the oldest English apple recipes we know, and although it doesn't look appetising, it still tastes surprisingly good. But the apple wasn't just something you ate, it was wrapped up in customs and beliefs that gave it a kind of everyday magic. There was an old trick of peeling an apple in one long curling strip and throwing the peel over your shoulder. People said it would fall in the shape of the first letter of your future spouse's name. Apples were also at the heart of seasonal games. Bobbing for apples, now thought of as a children's Halloween diversion, was once taken quite seriously. Success in catching one with your teeth was supposed to predict romance or even a coming marriage. Apples then weren't just food, they were fortune tellers. If you'd like a taste of the festive side of the apple, there's a very old way of serving them called lamb's wool. Whole apples are roasted until their skins burst, then stirred into warm spiced ale or cider with sugar and nutmeg. The apples break apart and turn the drink frothy and golden, said to resemble the wool of lambs. It was a traditional Twelfth Night treat, a drink with a little magic in it. In cider-making regions, especially in the West Country, the apple took on another layer of meaning through the custom of wassailing. Every winter, villagers would gather in orchards, carrying jugs of cider, singing songs and offering toasts to the trees. Sometimes bits of bread soaked in cider were placed in the branches, a gift for the spirits that looked after the orchard. The aim was simple: to ensure the trees woke up strong in spring and gave a good harvest in autumn. It was both practical and superstitious, a way of acknowledging how much people depended on these trees for drink, income, and survival. So when you look at the apple in Britain, you're really looking at something that's always been more than a piece of fruit. It's a symbol of plenty, a character in old superstitions, a reason for gathering in the depths of winter, and a steady presence on the table. From Roman orchards to wassailing chants, from fortune-telling games to a spoonful of apple crumble, the apple has been part of British life for as long as anyone can remember, quietly weaving together history, tradition, and everyday pleasure.